Well, that reparenting regression, which is creating an alternate reality, also works for success. They learn how to relax. Then through the hypnotic age regression, we rewrite their life script to remove all blocks to success, whether that is thinking they are not worthy of it, that earning more than survival wages is greedy, or that they can't or should not make more than daddy made, and replace such beliefs with empowering ones about money and their right to possess it, their ability to do what it takes and the light to build it. We also do coaching for goal setting, time management, and put this new attitude right into their calendars. It's always both hypnosis and coaching. That's the key.
Welcome to the Baggage Begun Healing Hearts and Minds podcast. I'm your host, Tami Mahmali, a spiritual guide and hypnotherapist. I'm here to guide you on this healing journey toward holistic and spiritual well-being with ease. Each week, we will dive deep into the realms of self-discovery, offering you valuable tips, strategies, and actionable steps to help you restore harmony in your mind, body, and soul. Welcome to the Baggage Begun podcast. Today I'm thrilled to introduce a truly special guest, Terry Lee Brussel-Rogers. Terry is a certified clinical hypnotherapist, founder and director of Success Center Inc., with over decades of experience in helping people reach their highest potential physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. She is the brilliant mind behind the 7 keys to self-actualization and the turnkey system, both designed to empower healers, coaches, and hypnotists in building successful practices. Not only does Terry have a wealth of knowledge in hypnotherapy, but she is also deeply committed to spiritual healing. Her impact is profound, and today she is here to share her wisdom and insight with us. Welcome, Terry. I'm so grateful that you are here. I wanted to start with your fascinating journey. Could you share a bit about your background and what led you to become a certified clinical hypnotherapist?
Well, what actually led me to it was that when I was 11 years old, I was having stomach issues every time it was time for PE, and I wasn't faking it, it was real. And my dad, who had learned hypnotherapy among his many other talents, got rid of the problem for me. My dad also was the one who caught me hypnotizing the neighborhood kids when I was 13 and put me into school at HMI, the Hypnosis Motivation Institute, which happened to be a couple blocks from our house. So for a couple of years there, I was going on Wednesdays and Saturdays to HMI. And I graduated from their professional hypnotism class in May of 1969 and started my practice when I turned 16, June 15th of 1969. Now, even before that, my dad owned an advertising agency. He was the one who started the hula hoop craze in the 50s, Barry Leon Brussel, Whammo's advertising man. So I know marketing in my baby bones. When I was 11 years old, I wanted a bicycle. And I said to my dad, I want a bicycle. And he said, you can have one. And he handed me the yellow pages. And I said, oh, I get to pick my bicycle. And he said, no, you get to trade radio and television advertising for it, which I did. So I made my first big sale, got a Raleigh bicycle, which was beautiful. And my dad had a client for years when I was 11 years old. So that's a big piece of my background. When I was 16 and I started my practice, I was right across the street from the hypnotist on Sunset Drive. And my dad had his office there, so he shared it with me and I was able to see clients there. I would start my demonstrations with, I'm going to give you a educational demonstration. Lights will not flash and bells will not ring, and I am not Pat Call.
I love that. You just let them dive into it without them being really scared and having all these misconceptions about hypnotherapy, hypnosis. You want to tell me a little bit about what the hypnosis misconception about hypnosis and hypnotherapy, and do you have clients that are afraid of every time you say I'm a hypnotherapist or do hypnosis?
This was a lot more so many years ago when people thought that it was all the shows and everything. And what they'd seen on, monster movies and all this. Oh, I'm going to hypnotize you and do all that. And I really did have to fight that in the old days. There's a lot less of that today. There's some, but a lot less. What I've always done is hypnosis that leads to getting command of your own mind, your own body, your own life. I've always taught self hypnosis as part of my program.
I know that you have developed the 7 keys to self actualization, which sound incredibly powerful. Could you walk us through each of these keys and how they specifically guide people toward achieving overall well being? What's the first step someone should take when beginning this journey?
It's a systematic program of business and personal growth through hypnosis and life coaching, crafted to enable you to achieve your highest potential in every area of your life, while continuing the valid use of self hypnosis and challenge resolution. This system also encourages self discovery, expansion of personal boundaries, the learning of new skills through both the conscious and subconscious minds. Those 7 keys include autosuggestion and self hypnosis, memory excellence from photographic memory to no more senior moments, inspiration at will for anything from dynamic, effective public speaking and sales to art, acting, and singing, success doing what you are passionate about, relationship joy, whether that means meeting your soulmate or enhancing a marriage which has lasted 30 years, spiritual growth from psychic abilities and astral projection to spiritual healing.
So I know the healing, spiritual growth, and physical wellness often go hand in hand. How do the 7 keys uniquely address both the spiritual and physical aspect of transformation? Can you share a specific example or success story where someone experienced a profound shift in both areas using your method?
Well, psychic development includes telepathy, astral projection, and precognition, spiritual healing, and person at a distance. The emphasis is on rising to the highest spiritual level of which you are capable in this life, whether you're someone who sometimes knows when the phone will ring and who will be calling, to being a professional psychic. Now, um, the jewel that I have in this area is the reparenting regression, which allows people to experience an alternate reality where they were actually raised by parents who taught them spiritual healing and psychic abilities from an early age. I came up with that when I had a couple come in who were just here for relationship coaching, but I always do a full write up on everybody physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. And they came from the Monroe Institute. You know what that is? This is one of the top spiritual organizations in the country. What could I do that was going to improve them? They were already distance healers and remote viewers and so forth. Well, this really did it. This increased their ability to do what they did at the Monroe Institute. And they were able to actually improve their scores there and so forth. And they do score that at the Monroe Institute so they can tell how much they've improved. Now, that was like 10 years ago. So at this point, I've used it on all sorts of people who were, as I say, from professional psychics to somebody who knows when the phone will ring, and they can improve their abilities in all those areas. Now, my first exciting example of a spiritual success was when this was in my early 20s, and I had a student come to me from the local college who was having trouble with his speaking. He would get up in front of the class and stammer and not be able to complete the speech he was supposed to do for the class. So we came in for confidence, and we did that. He had a lot better speaking then. He was able to stop, stammering every time he stood up in front of a group. Then, just for the heck of it, he wanted a past life regression. It turned out in a past life, he was the elder statesman. He was an amazing speaker, and he brought that ability back with him from this past life. It was amazing. He went to class and began speaking like that, and the teacher wanted to throw him out because she thought it was a hoax. How could anybody speak like that when he'd been doing what he'd been doing just a week or two ago? I had to alibi him to the teacher and get him to be able to stay in the class. He did stay in the class as a teacher's assistant, helping the other students to speak more effectively. And then he became an attorney, and it was this really exciting stuff went on in his life as a result of this initial experience.
I noticed that on your website and all your marketing information, there is a lot about financial abundance. That is something many of us strive for, but it can be so challenging to achieve without feeling like we are sacrificing other areas, our important areas of our lives. From your experience, how can someone attract financial prosperity while still maintaining a healthy balance in relationship, health, and personal fulfillment? What practices or principles have you found most effective in keeping that balance in your own life and in the lives of your clients?
Well, that reparenting regression, which is creating an alternate reality, also works for success. They learn how to relax. Then, through the hypnotic age regression, we rewrite their life script to remove all blocks to success, whether that is thinking they are not worthy of it, that earning more than survival wages is greedy, or that they can or should not make more than daddy made, and replace such beliefs with empowering ones about money and their right to possess it, their ability to do what it takes and the light to build it. We also do coaching for goal setting, time management, and put this new attitude right into their calendars. It's always both hypnosis and coaching. That's the key.
Yes, but can you explain in simple words for someone that doesn't understand a word that you said about what it means, all these life regression and stuff? Can you just explain it?
I do hypnotic regression is dealing first with this life's blocks to success, for example, or the spiritual abilities or whatever they've got a block to, blocks to be able to be in a closed space or to get rid of panic attacks or that sort of thing. So that's the first thing. And then at one point, I added the question, does anything which occurred in a past life interfere with your success, your ability to get rid of panic attacks or whatever? And when I did that, my success rate went up about 20%. So I found out that that was really affecting what was happening in the therapy situation. Now, as far as explaining what these past life things are, I discovered way back in I was really 13 when I was at HMI when I was taught about past life regression. And then I discovered I could also do past life reading. I actually could read somebody's past lives as a psychic, which, well, in my family, the spiritual abilities were passed from grandmother to parents to the grandchildren and so forth. And my dad taught me, and also my grandmother taught me how to do spiritual healing. I was helping people with their headaches and stuff when I was 5 years old. And I was always taught that this was a spiritual ability and that was connected to divine light. So when I do a past life regression or a reparenting regression, I can build that into the reparenting regression. But I can also help people regain past life knowledge and experience, like that speaking example that I mentioned. And they can regain past life experience that relates to their life mission. Um, we go to a time between lives when they know their life mission, consult with spirit guides, their higher self, the souls they'll be with this time around, find out what they're here for and how to manifest it into reality, and then regain past life knowledge and experience, like in that speaking example, that relates to their life mission. Now, as far as the forming alternate realities, well, you probably have seen the It's a Wonderful Life with James Stewart at the holidays. Well, they created an awful alternate reality there where he hadn't been born and the town was a mess and his brother had died and so forth. And what we do is we create a much better alternate reality where your parents, from the time you were conceived, actually supported you in success or in confidence in yourself or in physical wellness or whatever you want to put in there. And that comes from creating a set of self actualizing parents from your own higher self and the higher selves of your parents in consultation. And then those are the parents. They're not just an ideal set of parents, they're your parents, but they're the highest image of who your parents could have been to help you with these particular things. And then from the time of conception, your mother is carrying you in her womb and you're hearing creative music and she's eating the right foods and she's exercising regularly and she's talking to you lovingly, both parents, and they're loving each other too. So that when you are born, you have actually been supported in um, stress management or success or spiritual abilities or whatever right from the start. And then we go to your second birthday, your fifth birthday, and all kinds of milestones in your life right up to the present. So you have a whole alternate reality to draw from. You have the knowledge and the experience of the person who was raised in that alternate reality. And this is really exciting. I've had people do anything from, improving their psychic abilities this way to one man who had never been married, never had children, never had any experience like this. But in this alternate reality, he had had a good marriage and raised kids. And when he was done with this, and the man was in his 30s, and 35, and he was able to, at that point, from having never lived with a woman or had a serious relationship, he was able to go into getting into a good relationship with my choosing, finding, and attracting your life mate book and my attract your special someone hypnotic recording. By the way, I'm also a fourth generation matchmaker. I ran my family's introduction service for 40 years. And that was when I had my hypnotherapy practice still. I was doing both at once. So I have quite a bit of knowledge in that area. And he was able to get married, have children, and live a very different life than he was set for at that point. So these are just some success stories.
That sounds like a really success story. Can you tell us how many sessions, how many meetings are we talking about? Because it's fascinating. You're talking about starting today and going back into lifetimes ago, generations ago, and healing that and reparenting that and coming for today. How many sessions are you talking about?
Well, I average about 20 sessions per client by offering a complete line of personal growth and self improvement programs. Now, the average hypnotherapist, coach, healer is doing, according to our survey since 1995, about they're doing 4 to 6 sessions per client. That's because they're only dealing with the presenting issue. We deal with the whole person, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and financial, and give them tools to reach their highest potential in all of these areas, as well as resolving their presenting issues. So that leads to an average of about 20 sessions per client, which gives a whole lot more value to the client. And also the hypnotherapist who is averaging 4 sessions and charging, let's say, $200 a session, is getting $800 for the same amount of advertising and outreach if they're doing 20 sessions for that client and providing them with all that extra value. Instead of getting $800, they'd be getting more like $4,000, which they're certainly earning. Now, this is not a matter of seeing how much we can sell something to, everything on the shelf to them. I keep those sessions to as little as I possibly can to get them the result they want. I can help somebody quit smoking in one session. I don't think it's a great idea because if somebody is smoking, they probably have other issues. They know that's going to kill them, and yet they're still doing it. So instead of just getting rid of that problem, we go to the very roots of the problem and have them think of themselves as a non smoker rather than an ex smoker, and then give them a reason to stay alive instead of doing things that'll help them to die. So that's a very different kind of approach. Sure, I could do it in one session, or I could do it pretty easily in, the teaching of self-hypnosis. The basic bronze key is 4 sessions. It includes emotional awareness, control, and expression, the ability to make decisions through ideomotor response, the ability to be able to see into your own future and create your own future. A lot of stuff is included in my basic self-hypnosis course at the bronze key. But then I would end that with both a stress regression and a stop smoking regression. And the 7 session program takes just a couple of weeks. And they would quit smoking, have self hypnosis, and think of themselves as a non smoker. Then, if they wanted to make a 6-figure income or be in a great relationship or have a photographic memory, it's all available to them.
So much to offer. The combination of hypnotherapy and coaching is really interesting. You mentioned that. Could you dive into how these two approaches complement each other?
If you are in business, you are in sales, and you need to remove any blocks not wanting to sell. Now, through hypnosis, we do that. However, if you don't know how to do lead follow up, if you don't know how to go to a show, get your prospects, then turn them into clients, you're not going to make the money that you want to make in your field, right? Whether you're a hypnotist, coach, or or a healer, or you're somebody who's selling IT work and so forth. Anyway, so conscious coaching makes sure that such things as goal setting and time management put their new attitude into their own calendar so they actually accomplish it in the real world. Ideally, the skills of coaching and hypnotherapy work together when used by an experienced professional who knows the client well enough to deliver them in exactly the combination meant to be effective for that particular person. Now, the way we start is actually a combination of coaching and hypnotherapy. That's with a life guidance discovery session, during which we set your goals in order of priority based on a very in depth client intake form that I've developed over the last 50 years in this business, always updating it. We figure out exactly what steps are necessary to accomplish those goals in terms of hypnosis sessions, books, recordings, coaching, whatever it is the client needs or the hypnotist or coach needs to get from where they are to where they want to be. It's like a roadmap. You get it in writing. Then, through a private hypnosis session, based on that client's individual roadmap, we instill in their subconscious mind the clarity of purpose, the desire, the determination, the ability to better use the white light necessary to make their goals a reality. It's a very empowering session, takes about 2.5 hours, and it really makes a difference in their transformation. And we have something very unusual available that could be gotten from that session, which is a customized goal manifestation recording with all of these special affirmations and everything that we've created just for them, together with the client, can be put into a recording that they can play at night as they sleep. And that puts it into their subconscious mind on a regular basis through our Reach for the Stars recording program. It actually plays every other night during a period of a year. And it's supported by all kinds of other audios that I'll talk about in a moment.
What do you find is the most common block that hypnosis healers, coaches face when they're trying to achieve success?
Especially the more spiritually oriented who I tend to work with have somehow gotten the idea that it is wrong to charge for the work they do in healing others. This leads to the starving healer who is trying to survive on donations for what they do or charging way too little for it, generally needing a day job to actually support themselves. Some of them show this by giving us as few sessions as possible to their clients, working only on the presenting problem rather than assisting their clients and moving beyond it to reaching their highest potential in all those different areas of their life. It doesn't matter who the client is or what their problem is. They are not their presenting problem. They are this magnificent spiritual being who can blossom into whatever they choose to be.
I know that you told me about the book that you published. I want you to tell us all about your book.
Well, that will be 50 Years of Polyamory in America, a guided tour to a growing movement. And it's unique among the many books about polyamory because the scope of this book is the entire history of the polyamory movement. Polyamory literally means many loves. It challenges the relationship norm, monogamy, instead of concentrating on the experiences of a few people exploring alternate lifestyles. This is an exploration of 2 generations of Americans, the people and the organizations they founded, and what they have chosen to do, how it's changed their lives and affected the culture as a whole. As far as how this is related to my practice, there are many thousands of people in America and elsewhere who are experiencing this now, and it's far more than it was ever figured out to be before. They have unique issues relating to this lifestyle, from releasing jealousy along with fears of abandonment, multiple relationship time management. And you have to manage your time. You might be able to love many people, but you better have time for them in your calendar. How to handle new relationship energy in a way which keeps your marriage strong, and many more which require both hypnotherapy and coaching. The hypnotherapist and or coach who can help these folks are a whole lot more likely to get their business than hypnotherapists and coaches who do not really understand their needs or have the proven techniques that I've developed for dealing with such issues, as well as those practicing polyamory who, having resolved presenting issues, are ready to move their relationship to an even higher level of joy or to grow physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, as well as financially.
So if they want, where they can find your book?
Yes, they can find it by going to Amazon or Roman and Littlefield, who published the book. It's on Glenn Olson's author page. If you put 50 years of polyamory in America into your web browser, it will come up in many, many places. It was published in November 11th of 2022, and it was published by Roman and Littlefield, who also published the Deborah Anapol books. And my dream was for them to publish our book, and we made it happen.
Wow, I love when dream come true.
People come up to me and they say they're using it for their master's theses and their PhDs and all that stuff. So it's really making a difference in the world.
Wonderful. So as someone who helped client achieve both personal and financial abundance, what do you think is the key to maintaining a long-term success and happiness in both areas?
How can they be happy in both areas? Well, again, it's a matter of those 7 keys to self-actualization. To be happy as a person, I believe you need to be in a good relationship. There's some people don't think so, and I know that, but I'm a 4th generation matchmaker. My mind still works this way. And the people that I found who are really happy, have a great relationship, they might have a great marriage that lasts many, many years. They're good parents if they have children, and I have all kinds of ways of helping them to do this through personal sessions, through my recordings. And I've got many, many recordings to help people do this that they can find both on our website, asuccess.com, and on reachforthestars.today. We actually have a way of playing these things automatically while they sleep. They play 2 a night, or they can have 1 a night if they prefer. 2 a night plays 2.5 hours apart, and they can programmed specifically for their individual goals. And it's really exciting to watch people make changes in their lives through the private sessions and all kinds of things, from intimacy without jealousy to memory excellence lifelong, stop colds and allergies, positive stress management, and healthy, effective immune system. That one we have free since the pandemic on my website. I want to kind of complete this by saying that while they're doing all these great personal things for themselves, if they're going to live a full life, they also need to be making a good living. I can help them to get promotions. I can help them to come up with their own business. I'm a business coach as well as a hypnotherapist.
Terry, thank you for that. What practices or ritual do you personally follow to stay centered, inspired, and effective in your work as a hypnotherapist and coach?
I actually walk my talk. I have a hypnotherapist that I exchange sessions with and have for years. And we work with each other. So that's an important part of my self-care. I also listen myself to my Reach for the Stars every night, and it makes a difference in my life. It's very important for me. I have my own personal customized goal manifestation recording to assist me in the accomplishment of my goals, and I listen to that regularly. Um, in addition to that, I practice self-hypnosis and do my own work for removing blocks and making changes and being able to live a better life in every area of my life. And I continue to study this material. I study it through hypnotherapy, recordings and books and other hypnotherapists and so forth. I study the masters like Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, and Harv Eker's Millionaire Mindset, and the amazing Science of Getting Rich by Waddles. There are so many things out there, and I use magnetic marketing. I use all sorts of things to make me better at what I do every day of my life. I never stop studying. The will to learn is the most important thing there is. My dad taught me that from an early age. He used to read me from Think and Grow Rich as a bedtime story, literally. And the will to learn and the intense belief in yourself and in your ability to learn what you need to learn and do what you need to do to make your goals a reality is the key to everything else. So I always make sure I have that within myself and instill it in my clients.
So, Terry, I want to ask you a very personal question, and I hope it's not going to come across like offensive. You have been marketing yourself a lot. So, don't you think it's going to be kind of like a turnoff for people listening? Because we're talking about healing, we're talking about getting better, your higher potential, it's holistic, it's spiritual. Can you tell me why you market so much while you're talking? Because that's what how I met you. I think it's a little bit too much for me, but still, I think it's necessary. So tell me what your approach is.
Well, actually, there's a reason for that. I am passionate about what I do. I love what I do, and what I do is very spiritually oriented. Ever since I was a child, I've been doing spiritual healing. However, I am all about helping people to market themselves. That's a major part of what I do. I was taught how to market myself from the time I was a little girl by my dad, who owned an advertising agency for 50 years. So I have helped so many people to remove their blocks to doing sales, to marketing themselves. And a lot of my work is based on it. I want them to see that somebody who is spiritually oriented and has made a difference in a lot of lives and still loves doing this at the age of 71 can market very strongly and love what she does, and I want them to look at it that way too. I want the starving healers to hear it, that it's okay to make money. I want the starving hypnotherapists who are afraid to charge enough to hear that it's okay to be successful at what you do. I think this is so incredibly important. So they demonstrate to their clients not how to be a starving healer or a starving anything, but how to be a very successful healer, a very successful hypnotherapist or coach. That's what this is all about for me. You can do the healing, you can do the spiritual stuff, and you can sell it and love both sides of it.
I'm really honored to have you here and listen to you. So, for those listening who are interested in learning more or connecting with you, how can they reach out and explore your services further?
Well, they can go to, for information on hypnotherapy, they can go to acesuccess.com, or they can call me at 800 GOAL NOW, which is 800-462-5669. Delighted to talk to them. If they go to the website, they can also download as a gift Abundance, Your Money, and More Magnet, and Positive Stress Management and Healthy Effective Immune System. The abundance one brings an abundance of health, wealth, love, and joy into your life, and we give it away free. And I'm delighted with that. And we also give away the Positive Stress Management and Healthy Effective Immune System, both for the average person and for doctors, nurses, first responders, and healthcare workers. And that's a special one just for them. Now, they can go to reachforthestars.today if they want to learn more about getting the recordings that will back them up in accomplishing their goals every day of their lives. And, you can play it every night as you're going to sleep. And the fact that it's a repeat, that it's constantly doing something for you, repetition is the mother of effectiveness. And this way they get it at, it's less than $10 a week to be able to have hypnotherapy and coaching and healing going on in your life constantly. I do recommend it as a backup for private sessions, but even if they use it all by itself, it gets results. And it actually is as low as close to what, $5, $6 a week if they get just the basic program, and there's a free membership on there too. So if they want to, anybody who wants to make a difference in your own life, you can do it. And you can do it from free to up to my 7 keys to self-actualization for hypnotists, coaches, and healers, which is more than that. I have a whole program that they can do at home on their own, learning it and everything. And I work with hypnotherapists, coaches, and healers in the US, the UK, Canada, Australia, and Ireland to be able to help other people with using this method.
Thank you so much, Terry. It has been such a pleasure having you on the show today. Your insight into hypnotherapy, spiritual healing, and personal growth are truly inspiring. Thank you for sharing all these experience with us. To our listeners, if you're feeling stuck or challenges, I highly encourage you to explore Terry's offering. And I'm going to put in our show notes all their information. Thank you again, Terry.
If they will mention this show and tell us that's where they're coming from, they will get a $50 gift or $50 off a life guidance discovery session either way, if they'll just mention it.
Thank you again, Terry, and to everyone tuning in. Until next time, take care and keep moving forward towards your own highest potential. Thank you so much.